Welcome to 15K plus random movie reviews, where we take random movies from Metacritic's 15K plus movies to randomly watch whether we like it or not. Hello and welcome to episode 30 of 15K plus random movie reviews. This is Colin.
And this is Niall.
And this is episode 30, and it's a movie called Saint Maud. We changed it up a bit because it's Halloween. We filtered out the list in Metacritic to their horror movies, and we chose from the top 50. We should have chosen from the top 20 or something, or 25. But
yeah, we should. And we should have tried to limit it to things that are actually scary, because this ain't scary.
No, it was very disappointing, and maybe, it's sort of the theme of our podcast so far. We get sort of
Usually we say
weird.
something along the lines of, it was to be a little bit too long. It could have cut 30% off, and yeah, I'm disappointed.
I actually felt that this felt longer. It was just like, what's going to happen? But yeah, so it's got a Metascore of 83, a user score of 7. It's from 2019. It took a box office of $1.6 million. I don't know what the budget was. It runs for 84 minutes. It's from the warehouse, whatever you call it, the A24 that just pumps out movies every week, it seems. Directed and written by Rose Glass, she's done a couple of indie sort of movies, nothing too crazy.
Yeah, a couple of short movies, but nothing really other than this that is of any note, I suppose.
Yeah, this got a few plaudits. Cinema, I went through a couple of the crew, and the only one that stood out to me was the cinematographer Ben Fortisman, because he won a British Independent Film Award for this. And yeah, it was pretty nicely shot, I guess.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, the lighting I thought was exceptional in this. The choice of the contrast and scenes actually were very good. Specifically where there's, I think, the door to Amanda's house, which we can talk about later, when she's standing in front of it in some points, it's just very well shot.
Yeah, it's quite atmospheric at times, the way it's shot, and the set design as well is quite good. Anyway, so I'll nutshell the plot. Our nurse, Maud, she has a weird past where she most likely killed somebody by cracking their ribs or something when they
it starts off in a
them.
really not violent. The violence is over when the first scene kicks off, but
yeah,
there's somebody on a gurney, bloody and dead, and there she is in the corner, freaking out, bloody and not dead.
Yeah. And so, like, she gets a job looking after a cancer patient, and she sort of has this back and forth trying to save her soul. And Amanda, the cancer patient, is sort of, taking the piss basically of her, and in a subtle way. And she gets fired, and then she descends into a bit of madness and goes back, and things are a bloody mess at the end, really. So
yeah, I thought the chemical cocktail that she'd been brewing up prior was going to be used differently.
I thought
the method of, I won't even go into it yet, but I was surprised by that piece.
Yeah, I thought it was going to be poison as well, probably just a cocktail, but no, it wasn't. Interesting way the movie ended. Anyway, let's get to the chase here, and maybe we can reflect the length of our podcast with the length of this movie, because it's not really that long, but it felt long. But let's get through it. So yeah, the movie starts off where she's a bloodied nurse, basically, sort of looking in the corner in this sort of
bloody
padded cell at the start.
Yeah, actually bloody, not just a turn of phrase.
Yeah, no. Nurses are not bloodied. Nurses are the best people in the world. I thought it was a padded cell at first, but obviously it's a hospital, and there's a bloodied corpse, and there's a gurney
cockroach, which is a thematic thing that pops up every now and then when she's having a bit of a freak out. But there's a cockroach clambering along the ceiling, which she's kind of staring up at while she's freaking out and covered in blood.
Yeah, it's a little. Doesn't when it came up later on, it didn't look real. It was like, oh, that doesn't look. It's weirdly cockroach.
It was an actual cockroach in all scenes.
Really?
They had hired a cockroach handler for the movie.
What, some guy in a top hat?
Hello, I'm your cockroach tamer.
Yeah. That's interesting because it looked like it was with the typical A24 sort of digital manipulation of stuff.
No, it was an honest to goodness cockroach. And there were several cockroaches in the movie. It wasn't just the one.
Just in case it got tired.
Well, yeah, it's tough work.
They didn't want to get dragged out in front of the Cockroach Actors Union. You know how strong they
That's
are.
on strike again, those cockroaches. Oh.
Yeah. So yeah, it starts off with her narrating. She does her bit of narrating through the entire movie. It starts off with "Dear God," and then blah 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 blah. So like, she has all of this. We get to see inside of her thinking a bit during the movie because of the narration. But it's set in this quite a beautiful seaside town. Actually, do you know what town they shot it in?
I looked it up and now I can't remember. I know it's in Wales because
No,
it's not in Wales.
no,
I absolutely messed up. Where is it?
it's in Scarborough, North Yorkshire.
Oh, okay. Because half the actors are Welsh. I assumed. Oh, I assumed incorrectly.
Yeah, you assumed. You jumped to conclusions there.
Yeah, I did. Considering she's Welsh. Well, she's Swedish.
Morfydd. Yeah, Morfydd Clark.
Morfydd Clark, and the lad she boinks later on has got a Welsh accent, and some of the lads in the pub had Welsh accents. I jumped to the conclusion that if there's a bunch of Welsh people, it has to be Wales because they never leave.
Thankfully, it wasn't shot in that longest Wales town name in the world, you know.
Oh, yeah, we've no chance of pronouncing it.
No. So yeah, it's a nice little setting for it. It's a bit grim, but it looks pretty. And Maud has a new posting, a house on the hill, stereotypically house.
Even though it is a picturesque scene, they managed to shoot it in a very depressing sort of manner.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
Choice of lighting.
Yeah, it's grayish, dark, sort of. Yeah, it's kind of a dark movie as well. It's sort of grayish blues. So I thought it was funny. She's going into she's taking over from the other nurse, and she asks, "How is she?" And she goes, "Bit of a cunt."
Yeah, I thought that was a great line. That's the only line I quoted, but yeah, that's a fantastic piece because she was all the other nurse was very businesslike until that question, and she thought about it for a second and went, "Bit of a cunt, yeah."
Yeah.
Bye.
Yeah, but to be honest with you, she isn't.
Not at all. She's actually lovely.
Yeah.
That other nurse. Well, I guess this nurse was being fired at that time or being let go. So maybe she was a bit of a cunt.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, anyway, Amanda, played by Jennifer L.A., if that's her surname, if that's how you really pronounce it. She's 49, has lymphoma of the spine or something, used to be a dancer. She smokes a lot, so she doesn't really give a shit anymore. Yeah. And I started thinking of the Father Ted thing about cigarettes. Lovely fags.
Yeah.
Because she smokes constantly. And for the non-Irish people in the listenership, fags is a nickname for cigarettes in Ireland, and England, I guess, as well, probably.
Yeah, it would be.
Yeah.
So again, similar to the last movie, actually, death is a massive theme in this because your one's on the way out.
Yeah.
Like she's kind of fecked already when the movie starts.
Yeah. And we have this sort of theme that runs through the movie of Amanda having these nights of passion with these random people, mainly Carol, played by Lily Fraser.
Yeah, I think it's implied that she's, well, I think Maud thinks she's a lady of the night. Whether or not she is debatable.
Yeah, and the first night is a bloke, and we never see him again. I don't think, I can't remember, but she's turfed out due to that. And Maud walks around the town and gives money to a hobo and goes to a weird diner, and then she's called back because Amanda's crazy sick. So
yeah, she gives out at this point when she's talking to God, saying, "How the hell did this fancy, well-to-do lady end up in a town like this? Even I hate it."
Yeah, and then Amanda's asking her, "Oh, how long have you been doing this? Oh, 1 year. Where did you work before? I worked in a hospital. Are you used to death, and I needed to change." Yeah. And they talk about her recent conversion to her faith. And she kind of says, "God is pulsing and warm and good."
Yeah, see, if I was Amanda at this point, red flags would be just popping up all over the damn place. I'd be like,
Get
okay,
rid of her.
that's lovely. We'll talk in the morning, will we? And I'd get on to the contract agency that hired. I'd be like, get her out of here now. She's mental.
Yeah. She's yeah, but she's like then they're I don't know, they have a conversation about that, and she's asking, I wonder what it will be like, and it really just needs to go deeper, and it just didn't, and I just felt it was a missed opportunity, and the conversation ends, and then she's kind of walking up the stairs in raptures, sensing the flow of God
Yeah, but I think
through
at this
her.
point the conversation has triggered something in her that
Mm,
she has a purpose. She thinks God has given me a
yes,
purpose to save the soul of this fallen lady. And the thought of
yes.
that gets her rocks off effectively. And she's lying in the stairs, in ecstasy.
Throes of ecstasy.
Mm.
Yeah, the ecstasy of. I was trying to think what's the religious words for these things. I thought it was rapture. I thought it was yeah.
Well, if that's rapture, I wouldn't mind some of that myself.
Yeah, it'd be nice if religion actually brought that sort of sense of
Yeah, just walking up the stairs. Way,
way.
new underpants, please.
all I get walking upstairs is out of breath.
Saying, "I'll be back."
Where's God when you need him? Jesus Christ. Yeah. Yeah. And
Unfortunately, it's not real.
no. So then, yeah, I think you're right. Just from you saying that, like, she does have this warped sense of a mission to save people from God, especially Amanda, obviously. So she like the next scene, she's like kneeling on pebbles before the crucifix, and it's like the whole old fashioned. You gotta punish yourself for
Oh yeah.
what's about that thing about religion where you actually have to feel pain to
Penance for
worship your
your
God? No, penance, for
a
your
little bit of
sins or
penance,
whatever.
yeah, because you had some good fun on the stairs. It's time to hurt your knees. Then she has a
Yeah.
nosebleed at this point, I think.
Yeah, it's the next day. She's at the sink and she has another rapture and throes of ecstasy at the sink, and then there's a rap on the door that sort of
See,
gets her out of that.
I think the nosebleed is important here because it's my opinion that this poor lady has some sort of brain tumor, and it can bring on these sexual experiences and hallucinations if it's pressing on a certain point of your brain. Um, so
Wow.
that's my take, and I think she probably had cancer herself. We never know.
You never know, and that's probably one of the weak points of the movie. We don't really get to know Maud that well. We don't know about the ins and outs. So like there's not a lot of dialogue, and the narration is quite lightweight too. And I just think it loses. I don't know. It didn't go
Well,
deep into her backstory
I would
enough
say
for
the
me.
narration isn't really narration. It's part of her discussions with her.
Like diary entries or something.
Well,
It sounds like.
it's her talking to God, and the problem is that she actually believes that God is fully listening and also in her head, as a passenger. So
Mm.
it's a window into her lunacy.
Lunatic of God's creation. That's a Deicide song, if I remember correctly, from my death metal days.
Nice.
Sorry for that aside. She has this. There's an important scene where she's taking breakfast and she sits down and she does grace before breakfast, and Amanda has this sort of, oh, I'll play along with this, and she has
She's
this side
smirking,
smile.
but she
Yeah,
she puts her hands together in prayer and just okay, what the hey.
yeah. So she, this is definitely, she wants to save her, and she's got this weird last gasp when she's going through these raptures, and it's just a bit freaky at times. She does it maybe three or four
This is
times.
very freaky actually.
I wish there could have been was more of that. There wasn't enough freakiness in the movie. It was very just flatlining all along, and not very interesting to me.
See, I kind of disagree with you on that point because I thought her insanity and how she's portraying this insanity by discussing her day-to-day activities with God and how she thinks that God is setting up tasks for her. I found that interesting-ish. And I found a level of anxiety throughout the entire movie that builds up. Not maybe in the first half, but certainly in the second half as things accelerate for her, specifically when Carol is introduced. There's something that's done very well with production here and the sound, that it's using some very grating sounds, and I found it painful almost. It makes it hard to watch, but I think that's kind of intention. Like, there's a bunch of white noise in certain pieces in the movie, especially when she's freaking out, like when she's in the party later on. We'll get into that in a second, but it really ramps up the anxiety for me.
I didn't feel the anxiety. It didn't do enough for me. Like that whole white noise is a very generic trope to use.
It works in movies, and it triggers me.
It triggers you, just like Hussera's bone cracking.
Exactly. Or shoes for yourself.
Yeah.
People walking.
Yeah.
Unusual decibels.
Yeah. So she gets a gift from Amanda of a Blake painting book, which I know a couple of his paintings from my art history past, and they're all very religious and demonic. But it says "to my savior," and she wrote it to my savior. So it's like,
it was a nice thing for her to do. I thought, it wasn't.
It was kind of nice.
You think it was done sarcastically?
I think so. She drew wings and everything, and it's like, you don't really believe that. I don't know.
No, she didn't believe it. I think she did it nicely anyway. It maybe a bit tongue in cheek, but she didn't think it was going to do any harm to string this lady along. She didn't know how deeply, well, I'm not going to say religious, insane this lady was. She's religious and incredibly insane, and she didn't know the levels of that insanity.
Yeah, so like she's this Carol lady of the night's coming over to drink and have some nice times with Amanda. So obviously Maud doesn't like this because it's not the right way to save your soul. So
if I was Amanda, I'd be doing the exact same thing. You're about to check out, booze it up and have a good time. Why not?
Yeah, so like she gets Carol in the kitchen and goes, listen, you need to go away and never come back. She needs to have her exit from the universe in a pious fashion.
Yeah.
So she disappears. She bumps into an old friend from before times, and she's going, Katie. Do they know what happened? Katie. She's like going, oh, do they know what happened? And,
they hired you after they found out what happened?
Yeah.
And then Maud's like, bye-bye.
Yeah, see ya. Choo. Then there's a scene where she fist bumps the hob in the kitchen.
Yeah.
She wants a bit of pain.
Yeah, what was that about? I can't remember. That's because there was a phone call then with Amanda and Carol, and I think...
Oh, yeah.
I think Amanda's goes really cold with her at this point, and I think fun time, happy friendships with your patient is over. Because she knows you're schizo.
Yeah, so Amanda hosts a party and Maud is there as the maid, basically, and Amanda calls her out, here she saved my soul, went behind my back. Yeah,
it gets
my really little saint.
Really unpleasant scene here. Very awkward when she calls her out like that. She doesn't let her leave as well, which is kind of, I find, painful to watch. This is where the white noise ramps up and my skin starts crawling up with that. I don't obviously doesn't affect you, so no, you weren't affected by chalkboards and chalk.
No, well, I don't like nails on chalkboard. I don't like that. Anyway, she slaps Amanda and gets fired, so she's back home in her hovel. This is around the 41-minute mark and nothing has happened. I noted it. It's just like, I know you say that the intensity is piling on and ramping up or whatever. I just felt nothing.
Not to this point. There's only a bit of intensity at this point, which was the party. Up to the party, it's just, I don't know. It's setting the scene. That's a very long setting the scene. I will give you
very long setting the scene, and it's not done properly. It needs to go into. It needs to get it more into her background. Like, all we saw is the first scene of her in the corner of this room with a bloodied corpse,
and the Katie scene. That's a bit the height of it.
Yeah, that's it. I'm like, I need more of that to understand what frame of mind Maud is in. So I wouldn't have minded. I know, but I wouldn't have minded a set of flashbacks. I wouldn't have minded a
Okay,
set of
yeah.
flashbacks going from that incident to her maybe perhaps having a little mental breakdown and perhaps thinking she saw God or whatever, blah blah blah, and then getting, a little time jumping storytelling plot mechanism. I think that might have done that 41 minutes a bit more. It would have kept me better
I
engaged.
will give you that. Yes, that would be a better approach in my head, but I ain't no director.
No, no, no. Anyway, she's back home. It's a horrible little hovel. She's unraveling more. She's unemployed. She self harms a lot.
She's back
So
talking to God. She's giving out to God at this point.
yeah,
Basically saying,
yeah,
well, what do you want me to do? I did bloody everything. You suck, God. You suck. Upside
yeah.
down
So
shots. Ooh.
yeah, upside down shots. Yeah, it's like, oh, there's one upside down shot. Well done, director. All right, everybody, let's put the camera upside down for this one.
That's it.
Cameraman.
You got a pair eyes. That camera's upside down. Well done.
Yeah, the cameraman's going, fuck it, I have to turn my camera upside down. So anyway, she goes out for a pint, and this is probably one of them. This setup for a bit more exposition. We see it in a weird way, though. It's kind of she's out for a pint, and she meets up with a dude and does something, a bit naughty in the pub.
Yeah, he finds God too, but via hand, I guess. Yeah, that was very awful.
She's standing at the bar and her pint just starts having a typhoon in it, and she freaks out with that. I'm like going, yeah, I twirl my pint around at times and I can get a typhoon in it.
Yeah, but not before you've touched it though. If I'm not touching a pint and it starts spinning by itself, I too would be a little bit disconcerted.
It depends how many pints you've had.
That's true, actually. No, but it's usually the entire world that's in a typhoon at that point.
Yeah. Anyway, she bumps into a dude, and they go back, and basically
they bump
they're in the middle of the throw of passion, and it flashes back to when she's doing compressions on a patient, and she cracks the rib, and blood splurts out everywhere. Flashes forward to the man. She's wet, and there's blood coming out of him, and she freaks out, and then he's okay. He's normal, and it's weird, and
it's an unpleasant scene, if I'm honest.
Yeah, I don't know. Hey, come on, give me. Yeah, I don't want. Yeah, I don't.
Again, there's no horror here.
No, nothing.
There's no fear.
Nothing.
There's no jump. So yes, I think it's a psychological thriller, I suppose, but we got unlucky for a Halloween movie here because this is not something you watch for Halloween.
Yeah, we're unlucky. Anyway, she goes to she's at home the next scene, and she's going, please guide me, and then she sees fireworks and then vomits up everywhere. She's like vomiting up fireworks at that point.
That's what I take as a sign from God too.
Yeah, it's like
20 Jägermeisters and I'll have a sign from God.
Exactly. And she does a hell of a yoga pose in midair, and that's supposed to be
impressive. That's where half the budget went.
Yeah, but that's supposed to be the guidance from God, basically. So the next scene, we see her putting hobnails into her tennis shoes, and she just goes walking around in nails.
Yeah, that I found difficult. I don't like body mutilation stuff. It doesn't even show it happening. It's just the concept of it is unpleasant. She seems to get joy from it, though, which is good. I think it's her doing more penance for her wicked ways the night before.
It's like that flagellation thing, isn't it?
You can't be this bit of self-flagellation.
And the voiceover then, she goes, Amanda, you called to me. So that's further imposing, her mission to save her soul. So she meets up with Amanda's nurse and gets all the bloody information. I was like, blah, blah, who gives a shit?
That scene was pointless, I think is the word I would use for it.
There's no need. There was no more exhibition on it, really.
No. It doesn't add anything to the story.
Anyway, she's lying down in her hovel of a house, and Mr. Cockroach comes out again. Yay. And then leads her over to her shrine of Blake painting she cut out from the book. And then this demonic voice starts speaking to her, and obviously, is it God or is it Satan? Who the hell is it?
It's God, and he's speaking Welsh.
Is he speaking Welsh? I thought it was Welsh, like Aramaic or something.
No, it's just straight Welsh.
Really?
Yeah. Welsh is Celtic, but it really isn't like the rest of the Celtic languages.
I did not pick up on that. I'm usually pretty good with languages. Probably was the painter Blake then talking to her because he was Welsh.
Could have been.
Why did you cut up my book?
I'm coming for you.
You bitch.
Put more nails in your shoes, god damn it.
And buy my next book that somebody else gathers. Anyway, it's her friend visits Katie or whatever. Is it Katie her name, or was Maud's ex name Katie?
I never got the friend's name. I'm not even sure that we get it. If it was blasted out very quickly. But she comes around. Yeah,
it's weird.
It's very weird.
She just talks. She talks. She doesn't.
She talks because her friend, her ex-friend, is sitting there staring out the window and ignoring her. Yeah. And she clearly knows something's wrong. She's looked around the room, and the room is full of religious iconography and nothing else. So,
but she's oblivious though. She just keeps talking about herself. She's not asking questions about Maud. She's just talking about herself. And I'm like, are you an idiot? Like, obviously there's something wrong with her.
In my head, she was nervous because of the lunacy she was facing and decided to fill all of the quiet time with gibbering. But when she gets the chance to leave, she flies out the door, which is what I would have done immediately after looking in the door.
Yeah. Anyway, Maud goes for the Amanda showdown. It's like, okay, it's an hour and 15 minutes into the movie now, and the movie is an hour and 24.
There was a scene right before her friend turns up, and she had 2 bottles of chemical sitting on the table. One was hydrogen peroxide and one was acetone. And if you mix those chaps together, it go boom with the addition of fire.
A lighter.
Apparently it's I googled the mixture, and apparently it's similar to TNT in boominess.
Yeah. Lovely. So that you kind of think, okay, that's going to be a nice cocktail for blah blah blah. And so she goes to Amanda, sits down.
I thought that was for Amanda's
breakfast.
Breakfast. Here, have some boom boom for breakfast.
Yeah. So she sits down, and the only bit of horror jump scare in the movie happens when Amanda's face goes weird and yells at her and talks in a monster's voice and blah blah blah.
Yeah. Maud is full on hallucinating here at this point. She sees demons inside her old friend Amanda.
Yeah. So she stabs her.
It's very goddamn brain.
It looked a bit like it looked exorcisty, but it also looked like when Bilbo Baggins turned.
Actually, yeah. When he just snaps.
Yeah. Give me back the ring, or give me the ring, or whatever.
Do the roar. No, that's a different movie.
Yeah. So that's it, and she stabs her to death with scissors. And
that caught me by surprise. Not that it really scared me or anything, but I was waiting for things to explode, literally explode, and it never happened. Because I thought when she was doing the cross on her face with a bottle of water,
tap water,
which probably turned out to be tap water, but I thought it was explosive liquid that she was going to pour on her head and light her.
Yeah,
I was kind of upset that never happened.
Well, you got something in the next scene, but she comes out of her Amanda's house, a la Birdman, a la Carrie.
yeah, bit of both.
Mixture between Birdman and Carrie. Blood all over and floating into the sky. Heads down to Scarborough Beach and has the bottle of stuff with her. Pours it over herself, and some wings appear behind her in neon SFX.
Yep, she believes she's been sainted, or not sainted, or whatever the getting your wings equivalent is in religion. I can't remember anymore. Then she gets a lighter out.
Yeah, and obviously in her delusional world, she's heading up into the sky because there's a little portal of clouds up there.
Oh, another cyclone with a beam of light coming down.
Yeah. But in the very last millisecond, we see her
just burning in
corpse.
Yeah. Perhaps she goes at the last millisecond of life. Shit. I think I've made a mistake.
I must be insane because this is actually painful.
Yeah, I would imagine explosive burny liquid on you is going to be a little bit painful. Yeah.
Immolation, right? Self-immolation. That's the
Good old
phrase.
self-immolation. Everybody should
From
try it at least once.
from flagellation to immolation. That's the banner for this movie.
Uh,
Nothing. This isn't a horror movie. It's a
no,
sort of a very,
no.
very, very. It's
It's
very
a
mediocre.
slow psychological thriller with 2 or 3 main events. It could be. It could have been condensed, or they could have added a little bit more. Well, murder. you know.
Something.
Yeah,
Give
maybe
me something.
kill off one of the other nurses.
Yeah, kill off one of the guests or something,
Yeah.
and feed the guest to Amanda.
Yeah, very Hannibal Lecter of you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Cut
think
their head open.
a little bit more psychological torture on Amanda. Amanda doesn't really get any psychological torture until the last few seconds.
Yeah. No, yeah, it could have been so much better, I think. If they had called us up and went, "Yo, our movie sucks," we would be able to. I would have added the back and forth time frame to give us more exposition of her backstory and
some
conversion to
kaiju's
religion.
coming in off the beach, and maybe not. Maybe let me near the story.
No.
Big robots.
Listen, this
Space
annoyed
aliens.
me. Yeah, no. This annoyed me.
With big earlobes.
I gave the plot 1 out of 5. What about you?
I didn't really like the plot all that much, but I give it 1.75 because I thought there was some redeeming qualities to it, but it was a bit light in plot for the amount of movie there was.
Yeah. That's the plot. Acting, I gave 2.75. I thought the acting was quite good. I thought Morfydd Clark played Maud. She was good. Jennifer Ella was good.
Yeah, I went as far as 3.5 on this. I thought the acting was excellent. I know. I thought Morfydd was absolutely bang on as a psycho who believes in something very strongly, and part of her brain still trying to cope with reality, and the other part's quite happily talking to God who isn't there at the time. So I think she does a great job, and Amanda's great too.
Yeah, she's good, and everybody else is just sort of whatever.
But they're not
extra
really
characters.
there. The extra characters have very few lines.
Well, have you watched the Lord of the Rings TV show? Because Morfydd Clark is in it.
I watched maybe 2 episodes of it. I didn't particularly like it, to be honest. I thought she was excellent in it, but the story never grabbed me, and I just stopped watching it. I thought it was weak, actually.
No, I didn't. I haven't watched it. She won a BAFTA Wales for this movie. Jennifer L. playing Amanda is a BAFTA winner for Pride and Prejudice, 1996. She played alongside it, everybody's favorite romantic dude. What do you call him? What the hell's his name? God, I remember it 3 hours ago when I was looking it up. Colin Firth.
Which is a nice segue into Morfydd Clark, because she also was in a movie called Pride and Prejudice and Zombies.
Zombies.
Yeah.
Did you see that?
And in the previous movie, I have seen that. It was absolutely terrible. I enjoyed it immensely.
Oh.
It's rubbish. Pure rubbish. Sometimes I love rubbish.
Yeah. Right, yeah. So soundtrack, I don't even remember anything. Sound brackets track. You obviously liked all the ramp up of sound effects.
Yeah, I think it was used to good effect. I was sneaky suspicion you're going to give it a low number.
Yeah, I'm giving it 1 out of 5.
Oh, kicking the stones to the sound people. I give it 2.5 because there's no real music in it, but there is good use of sound, in my head anyway. The ramping up, the white noise where it's used, I think it's actually quite good. But okay, somewhere in the middle maybe.
Yeah. Production, I gave 2.5. I thought it was nicely shot, good set design, good atmosphere created by the production choices, and I'm not going to give it any more than that.
I actually gave it the same. I thought the production was good. Nothing stonking about it, but it's good. It's nothing bad. I thought the upside down scene was a bit daft, but yeah, the rest of it was quite good, and the choice of color and the contrast used with lightning at times was very good. Not bad.
Yeah. I usually go down to the worst review, but the worst review sucks. I'm not going to read it. I liked the third worst review from Andrew Crump at Paste Magazine. He gave it 59 out of 100. He said, "There's texture here, unnerving ambience as proof of glass is budding talents, but less isn't always more. And while St. Maud doesn't need much, it simply doesn't have enough to make an impression lasting beyond 1 second of terror." I thought that was quite
That's a
apt.
very good review, actually. That's exactly how I'd rate it.
Yeah.
He's rated it higher than you, but I think
Yeah.
what he's described is good. There was potential here that was kind of wasted.
Yeah. The Guardian gave it 100.
What?
Peter Bradshaw, he says, the film punches out its warped drama with amazing gusto and Clark is lethally assured. Not St. Maud, really, but St. Joan, a spectacular horror heroine. Come on.
Yeah, that's a bit too much.
It is a bit too much.
In my eyes, the movie's okay. 100 out of 100? Nothing gets 100 out of 100. Certainly not this movie.
It's weird. People, I noticed, like, when I read a lot of movie magazines these days, they rarely give anything below 3 out of 5 stars. I think they don't want to annoy studios, so they don't get, like, interview access and stuff like that, you know? Wait until we get market connections.
Morfydd
Clark be loving every
anyone near us after all the stuff you said about her.
Yeah, A24 can piss off. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I actually quite like A24. Some of their stuff is excellent.
Well, I have a new horror movie out now. I can't remember what it's called. I think it's called Talk to Me or something. There's this. The premise is it's got some good reviews. There's a premise such as party, and there's like this statue of a hand or something. And when you say "Talk to Me," when you hold it, then you see ghosts or monsters or something. And then I don't know. It sounds stupid, but it's got good reviews.
That sounds shocking, Pat.
It's A24 though.
Yeah, I do like some of their stuff. Did they do Uncut Gems? I think they did.
Oh, they did. I don't know.
I think they did. I thought that was a fantastic movie, and Everything, Everywhere, All at Once, stonking, which you hated.
I did. I couldn't get into it. I thought it was weird for weird's sake, without a lot of meaning behind the weirdness. There you go. That's my one-liner review of that.
That'll save us doing the review if we land on it.
Yeah. All right, so let's exercise St. Maud out of existence here.
Take off your shoes with the nails in the soles.
Yeah, exactly, and stop flagellating myself. Silly. So next episode will be our recap of the last episodes 22 to 30, so we won't roll for a random movie now. So we will see you on episode 31. Please review, like, share everything on all audio platforms, and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.
Ciao.